Hi Edmund, welcome to the Fairly Current Show.
Hi Fahmi,
Yeah.
it's a very nice t-shirt.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, nice, cantik t-shirt. Oh. I see here you're wearing a Malaysia Bebas dari ISA. Yeah. One of the things that we want to talk about. There's going to be a kind of proposed amendments that's going to be tabled in Parliament. In July. And I just wanted to know from your point of view as a lawyer, as a legal practitioner, what do you think these amendments will achieve? And in light of, I think, larger civil liberties kind of issues in Malaysia.
No, I think the amendments will not be very much. It's just wayang kulit. I think there's so much pressure that the government couldn't do anything else but to move some amendments.
So what kind of amendments again?
The 2-year period will probably come down to 1 year, but then the minister can still extend detention indefinitely. And then the 60 days by the police can still be, will be brought down to 30 days, and then it still can be continuously extended. Then, of course, the treatment and the way the detainees handle legal access they probably give. But all these, I think, are just wayang, is sideshow. I think it's time to just repeal the whole ISA because the militant communist insurgency is over. And it's time to move on. If we are talking about anti-terrorism laws, we should have a new act to counter terrorism.
And you mentioned earlier before we started shooting about that the ISA currently only actually detained is currently only there are only 15 people who are held under the ISA and they are held in Kamunting. Whereas we should also pay attention to the emergency ordinance, and the Dangerous Drugs Act.
Exactly. We are always talking about ISA. Of course, there are only now 15 people after so much pressure and after the 50,000 people protest. But the emergency ordinance, there's 800 to 1,000 over people in Simpan Renggam now. Mainly people from the lower classes, the uneducated, the poor. And I think there are about 400 to 500 under the Dangerous Drugs Act, preventive measures. So I think if they're looking at amending the ISA, you should also look at amending the emergency ordinance and the Dangerous Drugs Act.
So how come you in your opinion, we don't know, the Malaysian population doesn't really talk about the emergency ordinance or the Dangerous Drugs Act?
Yeah, because the campaigns have always been focused on the ISA. So Swaram and GMI have actually focused on the ISA because there are a lot of political campaigners, political activists, politicians who have been arrested under the ISA.
And the emergency ordinance and Dangerous Drugs Act, what are they for?
It's mainly for gangsters, for emergency ordinance, and the Dangerous Drugs Act mainly for alleged gangsters, and alleged drug traffickers or drug addicts.
Right. And
So
drug barons.
Drug barons. So people that we don't really hear about very often in public.
So it's really a matter of we will never be able to tell whether they really are or not under these. Now I just wanted to pick your brain. Yeah. So if we replace, you mentioned replacing the ISA with another kind of equivalent counter-terrorism act, would you support equally this kind of preventive detention without trial?
No, it's not. We shouldn't call it preventive detention. We should call it extended periods for investigation. That's how it is. It's not to prevent somebody from committing a crime. It's just that you need more time to investigate a bit more complicated crimes or alleged crimes like terrorism. So you extend it for 30 days, for example. Currently it's 7 plus 7, 14 days. But with a judicial scrutiny. Under the ISA and the EO, there's no scrutiny at all by the courts. So the courts don't have a say. Under this new law, the court should have a say. There is a period of, say, maximum 28 days, 30 days. After that, you must charge or release. That's the maximum you can go. Then there's a sunset clause, meaning that the law must end unless extended by Parliament every 2 years, for example. So there must be all these safeguards which are not currently available under the ISA or EO.
Edmund, I wanted to draw your attention to, I guess, Malaysian public and our kind of now re-encountering issues involving the use of specialist language, if I may. Issues like Constitution, issues like these really symbolic issues, right? ISA and so on and so forth. Now, can you talk about efforts that you yourself are participating in, where you're trying to get more Malaysians acquainted with this kind of what people would call specialist language?
Yeah, I think with the advent of the internet and online stuff, and with all your shows like this, the Bar Council has found it necessary to actually bring legal jargon or legal language down to the masses, to bring it to make it simpler to understand. So, for example, we have the MyConstitution campaign after the Perak crisis to actually explain what the Constitution means.
And it's not just lawyers who are on board.
Yeah, there's students, there's journalists, there's activists, there's teachers, there's everyone. Even we have 14-year-old kids helping us. So that's an effort by the Bar Council. Of course, they're working with different sites on LoyarBurok as well. That T-shirt that you're wearing.
And the T-shirt that you're wearing. Yeah.
We ran out of stock.
Yeah, so cannot buy anymore. But
Not yet.
Yeah. So what do you hope to achieve by because, for example, in my memory, right, my first acquaintance with words like habeas corpus was during the Anwar trial, the first Anwar trial. So like, oh, habeas corpus. Oh my God, what word is this? So what do you think? Do you hope to achieve?
Basically, the rakyat has to be empowered, and I think the general elections are coming in 2013. We should stop voting for personalities or voting for parties. We should start voting based on issues, and these are some of the issues: the constitutional crisis, for example, in Perak, the issues of detention without trial. If we're not happy with these things, and it's the government that's actually pushing all this out, then we should vote against the government. For example. If we believe in these issues, then of course we vote for the government. So I think the legal issues are so intertwined with our daily lives that everybody actually needs to know about it, even though it may not directly affect you.
Yeah. Although technically, when in an election season, there's no actual government; it's just a caretaker government.
Supposed to be.
And incumbents. I got him there. Yeah. So what can
the federal court doesn't think that's true. We tried to argue that before, but.
Right. Okay. Now, I guess what more can we expect? Because actually, what we're seeing is quite a kind of movement, gerakan among the lawyers. And why do you think there's more activity that we're seeing now? Or is that has that always been? It's just that we never really knew that was there.
Because the lawyers are fed up. The lawyers are fed up with the system. They're fed up with what's happening in court, what they see in court. We argue cases in court, and the government just comes and willy-nilly makes applications academic, for example, the habeas corpuses. So I think that many lawyers, especially the young ones, just really want to do something. They have a lot of energy, much more than you and I, and they're just asking, give us some guidance, how do you do it? So we just help them. Some of them who don't want to go to court or don't want to become so agitative or so irritating, they would rather write articles on LoyarBurok or or working on the campaign, because while it's empowering the rakyat, they're also empowering themselves. They feel that they're doing something, and I think it's very important that you have the younger generation coming up. And you see a lot of the voters are actually young voters. In the next 2 years, if we continue this way, in this positive way, we'll probably see a whole new generation of Malaysians wanting to be able to reform the system that we have at the moment.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Terima kasih. And teruskan dan semoga berjaya.
Thank you.